Hello again, I am Blunty. At this point, can we just take it for granted? Take it as rote, just to make the assumption that I've given you the lecture about the importance of audio when it comes to online content creation, in that it is at the very least 60–70% of what you should be concentrating on quality-wise to make your viewer experience better and help people stick around and stop them going away because it's unlistenably bad. Unlistenably bad is worse than unwatchably bad. Trust me on this, just make the assumption I've given you the lecture. And listen to me as I run you through the 3 mics that I most highly recommend these days for pretty much every different kind of content creation out there. And I actually had to delay making this video because as I was sort of most of the way through pre-production of this video, an announcement came out about this thing that I'm wearing right now and that you are listening to me on throughout most of this video, and I had to delay production because this thing is an upgraded model of one of the microphones I was going to recommend anyway, and this has so many new nifty features that it just eclipses this as a recommendation. So we'll save that to last. We'll just call that a tease as we go in. Now, the first mic I'm going to recommend to you is a good on-camera microphone, because if you're doing the vloggy style thing, an on-camera microphone is going to serve you extremely well in a lot of different situations and a lot of different environments. And the onboard microphones in cameras, although these days they're getting better, they're still not even close to a match for a decent little onboard camera mic. I did a sponsored video recently about the Sennheiser MKE200, which I still love and recommend, and it's, it's built like a tank and it's incredibly robust. But there is a new, very similar on-camera sort of mini shotgun style microphone that I've started using recently, and I like this one better. It's not quite as robustly built, it's got more plastic parts and things like that, but it has a couple of tricks on it that just make it so much more powerful and so much more flexible, especially if you're doing vloggy style content. You know what? I don't know what it is about this location. Every time I come here to do a shoot, clear skies, wonderful, until I press record, then it starts raining. Gonna push on. So the Deity V-Mic D4 Duo. It's one of those little on-camera shotgun microphones, just like dozens of others out there. Rode do a really nice one, Sennheiser do one I've just told you about. Pretty much everyone out there who does microphones for, content does one of these little mini shotgun on-camera microphones, and they're fantastic because they are so utilitarian and so flexible. This one, however, I like best because it has a couple of nifty features. Number one, it has dual capsules, a front one and a back one. And if you've ever done any vlogging where you're pointing your camera at something but trying to do commentary from behind the camera and you use one of these shotgun microphones, they're directional, so it's not going to pick you up pretty well. This one has a microphone on the back and there's a little switch, you can go click, and so it sends the sound from the front microphone and the back microphone to separate channels on your camera, left and right, which you can mix and match in editing afterwards. So you can do your live commentary really, really clearly, and you can have really, really clear sound what's in front of you. I would usually do this by turning the microphone around and just recording what I'm saying, but then I might miss out on whatever's in front of the camera. This one, no compromise, you can do both. But it doesn't stop there because it actually has an input as well. So you can use that dual channel feature to use the front-facing microphone, as I'm doing right now, as a backup track, and feed a secondary microphone, in this case the wireless receiver for this thing, which I'll talk about later in the video, into it. And again, you can record those on 2 separate tracks. So if you have a problem with your other microphone, your main microphone, like there's a interference with the wireless signal, or the battery drops out unexpectedly, or whatever it is, you've still got your backup audio coming from the on-camera microphone. And I used to do this frequently. I've done this for years using a series of little adapters. I've got a special adapter which can, split 2 microphone signals into left and right channels going into the microphone. But, that relies on me having that adapter. It's extra cables. It's a lot of mess and clutter on the camera, all these other cables going everywhere. I didn't like doing it, but I did it anyway because it made such a powerful tool when it came to editing. But this microphone has it built in. Hi, I'm Next Day Editing Blunty, doing a little insert here because in my distraction and frustration at the weather conditions during that shoot, I forgot to record a separate piece to camera showing you what this microphone actually sounds like, which is a kind of a useful thing to present to you when I'm telling you about why you should be using these mics. So this is what this microphone sounds like, and this is what the rear capsule sounds like. So I can hear perfectly fine in front of the camera, and I can hear perfectly fine behind the camera, which makes it an ideal vloggy thing. Which means if I'm doing this, I'm going, hey, look at this thing, vlogger, viewers, guys, and I can swing the camera around, and the audio sounds exactly the same. Right? Now, when it comes to recording at my desk, I was using the Elgato Wave 3 microphone, one of those sort of desktop style microphones that are very popular with streamers, for example. You know, you've got the Blue Yetis and, you know, all these sort of little desktop microphones. Most people use them on booms because it stops vibrations from the desk going through the microphone, things like that. Smart idea. And I was using that for a while and it worked fine. The software is very powerful, especially for newbies out there who aren't used to traditional ways of routing and mixing audio. The software lets you mix and match and change levels very intuitively and cleverly, and especially good for game streamers in particular. It's a lot of power there. And the audio quality was pretty good. It picked up a little more room echo than I would have liked, no matter what I did with it, but it was pretty good. But over the New Year's, I did some Lego building live streams, and a boom mic sort of sitting in front of my face would have been in my way of looking at the Lego, and also in the way of the camera looking at the Lego. So I set up one of my on-camera boom mics, in this case the Rode VideoMic NTG, which I've also done a video on about a year ago, I think, when they first came out. Incredibly powerful microphone. It doesn't have the special trick I was just talking about with the Deity, but it is a much more powerful microphone in every other way when it comes to higher end production. It is a studio grade type microphone, and it is really amazingly good. But I set it up as an overhead boom mic for doing this stream thing, and it turns out it just works better at the desk than even the microphone that was designed for the desk. It picks up a lot less room noise, it picks up a lot less echo, it is incredibly present and clear, even from sort of half a meter away above my head and everything, because it is a shotgun microphone, so it is expressly designed, you know, to do that job. But yeah, once I start using it at the desk, hooked up via USB, so I have a digital signal out from the microphone straight into the computer. Don't have to go through a mixer, don't have to go through a sound card or anything like that. So it's a super clean digital signal from the USB-C on the microphone into the USB on the computer, and it just works amazingly well. But if you only have the budget for one of these shotgun style microphones, I would go the Rode over the Deity. You miss out on that really amazingly useful feature I was just praising so much, but the other features are much more powerful. They're going to serve you for longer, give you a little bit more flexibility. The only reason I don't really like taking it with me in my day bag when I'm out and about shooting like this is it's a much bigger, more cumbersome mic, and I like to keep my bag as small and light and compact as possible. And, well, I have both mics, so I get to choose what I use anyway. So yeah, pretty much any and every video you've seen or heard from me at my desk or from voiceover stuff on YouTube and or live streams on Twitch has been through that microphone for the entirety of this year, and I'm going to continue to use it because it is working extremely well for that purpose. The only exception to that have been a few of the live unboxing videos I've done behind the desk on the little table, and for those I've been using this. This is the Rode Wireless Go. I've done a couple of videos on this. Didn't review it when it first came out because I didn't get one when it first came out. By the time I got them, there were already plenty of reviews out there for them. But I did do some follow-up videos on how useful they were and some of the accessories and some homemade 3D printed accessories for them and everything. So I do tend to use this quite a lot when I'm not sitting at the desk. But as I said in the opening of this video, I did delay this video because when I was getting ready to make this video, a new version of this was announced, and I'm wearing it and you're listening to me on it right now. It is the Rode Wireless Go 2. Not the most inventive name in the world, but what are you going to do? At least it's clear. And aside from the clarity in the name, it has clarity in the sound, as you've been hearing. I deliberately chose this location again, as I often do for these microphone tests, because there's water sloshing about down there, there's birds up there, there's a road there that cars go by, there's people on the tracks walking back and forth through here. So there's a lot of general background noise. There's a Navy base over there you often hear loud noises from and things like that. So it makes a pretty reasonable real-world environment torture test for a microphone, and as you've hopefully been hearing, I've been coming through very clear. Now, these are basically the same mic as the first version when it comes to the microphone capsule, how they work, how they sound, even how they look. They're physically identical, so they still work with all the old accessories, which is thank you for that, Rode. But they have several new tricks built in. Number one, they've redone the wireless thing, so it now has an up to 200-meter range versus the 70 or so, I think, for the first version. I don't know why you would ever need that kind of range, but I would rather have way too much range than not enough range. It also means it's a little more robust when it comes to things like interference and things like that. The other thing they did is they made it a double pack. So the first version had one transmitter, one receiver, and that was it. This one comes with 2 microphone units. So if you're doing a lot of interview stuff, for example, one on you, one on your interview subject, away you go. They both send to the same unit, go into the camera. You can either have, there we go, there's a siren going off right now. Don't know whether you can hear that. But yeah, you can have both channels automatically mixed and go into the camera, so you're just ready to go if you're doing some really fast run and gun stuff. Or you can set it up so the microphone A and microphone B are set to separate channels, left and right essentially, because they're both mono mics, you don't need the stereo. So you can mix them in post-production separately and have a tremendous amount of control there. They both still have the microphone input on them, so you don't have to use the microphone capsule on the device itself like I'm using. You can use a lavalier mic, or you can plug in a stick mic or anything basically that has a 3.5mm jack on it. You can even use it with the Deity if you like. If you want to make that a wireless microphone, you plug that into the transmitter unit and it uses that microphone instead of its own built-in microphone. But the boost in range and setting it up as a dual microphone kit are the smallest benefits of the new version. They have built-in recording on the microphone units themselves. Each microphone unit can record up to 24 hours of compressed audio, or about 7 hours of uncompressed audio as a backup. So they just record when they're powered on. So if the worst case scenario happens, something happens to your audio on your camera, like the transmitter has an interference option with something else in the local area, or you haven't plugged the cable in properly, or your camera screwed up and has a bug, or whatever the issue is, for some reason the audio didn't get recorded properly in your camera. Well, you can just pull the file off this thing, sync it up manually later, and all of a sudden your shoot is rescued, where before it would have to been thrown out and useless because you had no good audio. You can set these things up to have a safety channel for padding. You can use it with an app, so instead of the 3 sensitivity levels you would normally have, you have 10 sensitivity levels. Oh, and I almost forgot, they also have digital output now. So the USB-C port on them, that in the old version was just used for charging, that was it. Well, now it's a digital output, so you can plug it straight into your computer and use it right there. Or, with the appropriate cable, you can plug it into the lightning port on your iPhone and use it as a wireless microphone for your iPhone as well. Or, with the appropriate cable, you can go into USB-C port on your Android device. So, between the extended range, the dual mic, the digital output, the backup recordings, what am I forgetting? There's another feature I'm forgetting that's amazing. These things have suddenly become one of the most powerful tools that any content creator can have. I mean, even if you're sitting at your desk, you could hook them up to USB so you're not draining the onboard battery and use them for streaming if you wanted to. And of course, as I mentioned, they are physically identical to the first version, so they can be used with all the standard accessories that came out for the first version, including this lovely little stick mic adapter here if you want to sort of look a bit more professional on camera if you're just using one for a bit of back and forth stuff. Talked about this in another video, did a 3D printed version of this as well in another video. I'll link to it down below because it's kind of interesting how it all turned out. Oh, I think I forgot to mention also the same 7-hour battery life that the original version has as well. And one more relatively small thing but huge difference between the two and the original unit is the little fluffy duffy thing, your little wind fluffy here. The first version had one that looked basically identical to this, but it clipped on with 2 little toothy prongs that just didn't really clip on very firmly at all. The thing would fall off if you looked at it sideways, wrong, or didn't hold your breath, things like this. The new version has a bayonet mount, so it twists on and it stays on there much more securely. So where once upon a time I would never use the windsock on the original version because, well, it would just fall off, now I can use these outdoors with more confidence with the windproof sock on here. I haven't needed it today because there's no wind. Rain, but no wind. But yes, if you were frustrated by that on the first version, prepare to celebrate as the second version fixed that rather glaring issue that I can't believe the first version made it out of the factory with that. Did nobody test it? I don't know. Road. But yeah, those are the 3 mics that I would recommend. So, hopefully this has been informative, useful, interesting. I would appreciate it if you do the sub, the bell, and the thing, and the comments and whatnot. And thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there. Your above and beyond support is invaluable. I am Blunty. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Just in time for it to stop raining as well. It rained the entire time I recorded this video. As soon as I stopped, it stopped. Mother Nature, go F yourself.